Councillor Jerry Newmark, leader of the Hertsmere Borough Council. Councillor Newmark, please welcome.
Thank you, Michal. Lord Mayor, distinguished guests, I'm proud to be standing here today as a proudly Jewish and proudly Zionist leader of Hertsmere Borough Council, a proud UK Labour councillor, and I don't say that to make a party political point. I say that to make the point that even in a party which was ridden with anti-Semitism over a number of years, some of us spent time, effort and organised politically to change it. We fought tooth and nail to rip out anti-Semitism from the very heart of our party, and friends, we succeeded. Hertsmere borders London. We're a district in the UK with about 120,000 residents of many and all diverse backgrounds, 17% of whom are Jewish. I was asked this evening to reflect on the past day and a half here at the summit. And aside from perhaps one reflection about how difficult it is to shepherd 120 mayors and councillors on and off buses and keep to schedule at the same time, I do have some thoughts that might differ from what you expect. Because friends, my overwhelming reflection of the past day and a half is that despite the gravity of the current situation in which we find ourselves, I'm upbeat and positive, and let me explain why. Earlier today, I bumped into Francois, another delegate here. We've not seen each other for almost 30 years, since we were both activists in the European Union of Jewish Students. At the time, I was fighting neo-Nazis and fascists on the streets of London and the Islamists of Hizb ut-Tahrir on university campuses. And Francois was a towering figure in the struggle against racism and anti-Semitism across Europe. And you know, my first reflection on seeing Francois again after all these times could have been that actually very little has changed, and sometimes it does seem like we're fighting the same battles over and over again. But looking around this incredible gathering of friends and allies here this evening, I realised that actually everything has changed. We have CAM, we have all of our wonderful mayors and city councillors and local officials and NGOs here today committed to this joint struggle against anti-Semitism. And in that respect, I have to mention our own mayor in Hertsmere, Councillor Chris Myers, who I as leader was proud to nominate as the first out LGBTQ+ mayor in our borough in history. Chris is an incredible ally in the fight against anti-Semitism. Here today with my deputy leader, Councillor Paul Richards, and of course also from the UK, our two wonderful colleagues from the London Assembly, Anne and Sem, who work closely with our Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, whose first act when elected as the first Muslim Mayor of London was to attend a Holocaust memorial event. You know, what's really significant is the consensus at this summit that anti-Semitism isn't just a Jewish problem. It's clear that we have more and more local authorities like my own adopting the IHRA definition every month, and that matters. We have localities around Europe who, like my own, reacted to the 10/7 pogrom in which Jews were hunted, butchered and raped by doubling down on their efforts as local municipalities and their investment to bring communities together. In Hertsmere, we opened our city hall to the Jewish community, who were joined by MPs, our Deputy Prime Minister and civic leaders. We held talks with faith and community leaders, within days of those horrific events, and we succeeded in fostering positive relations between them all. And we're not unique, as I've spoken to so many of you over the past couple of days who have similar stories to tell. We have a common realization emerging from this summit that our cities and our boroughs and our districts can be the catalyst for change that this moment in history calls for. And now, thanks to this afternoon's beautiful and moving unveiling ceremony, those of us in local government have the incredible inspiration of Paul Hirsch and his story to motivate us in continuing our fight. The words of his wonderful great-granddaughter will be my overriding memory of this summit, and I'm sure it will be the same for so many of you. So friends, my closing reflection this evening is that whilst it may seem that in some ways nothing has changed, in the ways that really matter, everything has changed. So thank you, Lord Mayor. Thank you, Dortmund. Thank you, CAM. Thank you for showing the Jewish community that they are not alone. And thank you for showing Israel that in these dark times, Israel is not alone. Because here in this room tonight is the authentic voice of our mayors in Europe. The voice of our cities, our boroughs, our districts, and our neighbourhoods in Europe. And that authentic voice is a voice of anti-racism, a voice against terror, a voice for tolerance, and a voice for peace. And that is the voice which will surely prevail.